Hello, I'm Connor. I'm from IPACA sixth form, and today we're going to be talking to Sue Virgin about living in Upwey and growing up on the Ridgeway. What was Upwey like when you were a child?
It was a very friendly place. Everyone knew everyone else, so if you were down the bottom road playing and you were somewhere that you shouldn't be, like say you'd gone into somebody's garden to get an apple from their tree or something, you can bet that somebody else would see you and then tell your mum or dad, and then when you got home they would tell you off for going into somebody else's garden. I remember that.
What was the best thing about living in Upwey?
Being near my friends from school, being close to Weymouth and Dorchester, because we were just 4 miles away from each of those towns. So you could easily get on a bus, go into town, go to the beach, or else go up to Dorchester and look at all the animals in the market.
What were your first vivid memories of the Ridgeway?
Either being on the bus or in my grandfather's car and hoping that we got to the top of the Ridgeway Road, because I'm talking about now the 1960s, and the cars weren't particularly good, or at least my granddad's car wasn't, at going up hills. And also the buses had trouble sometimes going up hills. And I can remember one time when we got nearly to the top and the bus came to a stop, and we all had to get off the bus so that the bus could get going again to take the weight off it. And then we walked up to the top of the hill and got back on the bus.
So you can see here we've got a few pictures and a map down here with some captions underneath. What is all this?
This is telling people about what Ridgeway used to have on it. It used to have a little railway station. I'm sure you remember when we used to go up the old road, you went under a railway bridge just before the hairpin bend.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, what you couldn't see when you go up the road is just up the side of that hill there by the tunnel are some steps, and it went up to a station that looked like this one in the picture, and that was called Upwey Wishingwell Halt, and it's where we were able to go and catch the train to Weymouth or Dorchester. So
is that closed down now? There's no station there at the minute?
No, there's no station there.
Can you remember what it was like visiting the Ridgeway as a child?
I don't remember going up there with my parents, but as we got a bit older, we used to be brave enough to walk up the Roman road as far as where the gypsies camped. And we were never, I'm sure the gypsies were friendly because they were there a lot of the time, but we used to get within about 50 yards of them and then just stand and watch, because they had the old gypsy caravans with the horses that pulled them. So their ponies would be tethered eating the grass and their dogs would be about. And often one of the older ladies would be sitting outside making clothes pegs. So we used to go and do that, but if ever one of them tried to talk to us, we used to run away back down the hill because we were frightened.
How important is the history and heritage of the Ridgeway to Upwey and the surrounding areas?
I think it's very important for people to be aware of it, because it is important. It's like when they dug the road, did the excavations for the new road, and they found all those skulls in a pit. Well, we hadn't really had any idea that was there. And because it brought Ridgeway into focus for a lot more people. We all thought about it differently. You know, before it was just a hill that you had to get over. And then all of a sudden there was all this activity that had happened there.
What's your favourite part of the Ridgeway?
Walking along the southwest coast path, I think, because in certain points you get views of Dorchester and then you look the other way and you've got views over Weymouth and towards Portland. And that, on a sunny day when it's not windy, you can't beat it. And because it is so high, you can see over to Wool and a long way towards Yeovil. But the most impressive thing, I think, is you can look over to the north and see Dorchester laid out in front of you and Maiden Castle sitting alongside it. And it's just lovely to see that whole view. And then you just turn round and there in front of you is Weymouth Bay. Sometimes, if the weather conditions are right, you can even see the sand and the sea. And then on further from that is Portland. But it's really nice up there, and you just feel so open and free.
Why is the Ridgeway so special to you individually?
Because it's part of my history. I grew up in the village, it was always there. Yeah, it's just part of me, I suppose.